Yeah. So moving on to topic 2, Josh, what is your topic today?
Topic numero dos. So, I don't do enough video game talk at all, and so I thought it'd be fun to pick out a game that you would like to actually come back, something that has been out for a while, and how would you bring it back? Would it be a straight remaster, one for one, just with a fresh new coat of paint, a la, what was it,
Mm-hmm.
Demon's Souls? Would it be a reimagining of it to where now you're actually messing with the systems of it? What would you do with it? What would you bring back, and how would you change
Okay. Interesting. Do you have an example that you're thinking off the top of your head for yourself? Ooh, okay.
it? So, for me, and I still want this every day. That's kind of what I'm excited for, the Square Enix one. It'll never happen, but we got Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah, finally.
So maybe the pipe dream could work. I was actually thinking of the Legacy of Kain games,
Okay.
Soul Reaver games. So growing up, I had a ton of different games I was into. If it was fighting games, if it was the WCW Revenge wrestling games, I was always into that. But the Soul Reaver games for me were just so great because it was kind of like, hey, this is what you can do with this story. This is how you can actually make it more cinematic and beyond, what Metal Gear Solid was. But just it for me it was awesome. It blew my little mind out there that everything was had voice acting on there. Everything was relative to what you're doing, and it just had a cool aesthetic to it. I don't know if I would necessarily. At the very least, I would just like either port something that you can play on the newer consoles. It drives me crazy, Phil Spencer, that you have an Xbox that has backwards compatibility, and I still cannot play Defiance. Cannot play it, but I can play a Barbie game from
Right.
whenever, but I can't play Defiance. How dare you? This is a travesty. We need to fix this right now, Phil Spencer. I know you're watching. Make it happen. Anyways, so short of that, I think it'd be kind of cool. There's been a treasure trove of releases and remakes as of late, but I would like to see the Legacy of Kain series get that and get an earnest one. Uh, Either how we got with the Crash and Sing trilogy, to where it's like, hey, here it is with a fresh coat of paint on there. I would be ecstatic with that. I would love that. If I were to tweak any of the games, it'd probably be the first one, just because they didn't get a whole time to flesh out certain puzzles didn't necessarily make sense in the context of the story and the narrative, because they had another brother that they actually had to write off, and they had to cut his entire section. I think it was Melchiah. They had to cut his whole section just because they needed to release the game. So if it'd be one of those like, hey, let's fix that and maybe add his part in there, or just flesh that part out why he was in there more, not just, hey, he happened to escape. It'd probably be that first game. Changes that I would probably do would just be purely on the combat part of it. Those games are fun. I like the puzzle games aspect of it. Those are a nice kind of relaxing. Okay, just like with Ratchet and Clank, how you have just sections of just, hey, I'm gonna do a puzzle. I'm okay with that. But the combat can get kind of too loosey goosey. You're just kind of swiping, and a lot of it, you don't have a whole lot of reaction animations that kind of feel meaty on there. So if I were to make one big adjustment on that, it would be the concept, or excuse me, the combat part of those games. Maybe give it a platinum style to it, not over the top crazy. Dial it down back a little bit, but you have your light, your heavies, and just a combat system that has meat and potatoes to it. Would probably be the one thing that I would change if I'm changing it. But that would be my Gatorade get hype moment. All right, throwing the headphones off. Here we go. This is what we're doing. It'd be a new Soul Reaver game. And if they want to just continue or make a sequel with it, do the Crash 4 route, to where it's like, yep, those games happen. We're doing our own thing now, and the story continues. I'd be totally down with that. I would love the heck out of that. Just anything in that universe. Not the multiplayer thing that we got. What was it, 5, 6 years ago? That's not so weird. That's not so weird. But besides that, I'd be down with that. So that
Okay,
would be
cool. So I thought of a couple different ones. The one that stood out the most, we talked about Ratchet and Clank before stream, and you just brought up Crash a few times. I'm not the only one. I want my boy Sly Cooper back in the light. Let's take 1, 2, 3. I don't know, like, obviously fresh coat of paint. I don't know if you saw it. When the Ratchet and Clank movie came out, there was rumors of a Sly Cooper movie, and they had like a teaser test reel thing. I don't know if I want it in that art style, but spruce it up, make it nice. And then I would just keep them the same, to be honest. I mean, they were great as is, so yeah, just facelift it and put it back out there. At least the first 3. 4 was great. I liked 4 a lot, but I don't know if you need all 4 of them to kind of go into there. Maybe because it did wrap the story in with the end of 3 and then how it ties in with 4. So maybe you do all of them. But yeah, just get him back in there. Like, what are we doing?
What are we doing with this?
So,
no, we can have 20 Call of Duties, but they can't have actual art. Here we go.
So yeah, that was the big one that stood out.
Would you keep in that cell shaded look, or would you tweak it a bit to kind of either give it that Ratchet and Clank to where it's cartoony, but you do have some fur textures on there, or would it just be like an update of that style, just super cell shaded, thick, outlines?
Man, that's a tough question, because I totally obviously with you bringing it up, it's like, obviously it's clear as day that it's there, but I wasn't thinking about that. So I think I was going more Ratchet and Clank, like the movie 2016-esque look, where not realistic, but like, but I don't know, like, obviously with the old ones being cel shaded, I don't know, would that mess with stuff too much where things don't look super, like certain aspects of it, I don't know. So I'm leaning towards more the Ratchet and Clank look, but that'd be an interesting thing to play around with. I don't know. Maybe that could be like a setting, like turn it on, turn it off.
Right. Yeah. Nice. That'd be cool. I can do that. I'd be good with that Ratchet and Clank setting if it's one of those like, hey, we're just kind of rebooting it from here. Yes, the previous games happened, but from here on, this is going to be our new starting point. I'd be fine with that. If they're going to have to go into that cell shaded route, just so everything would match up, you know what I mean? But if you're doing it with a different hype underneath it, where it's Sly Cooper, this is the starting point. There you go. Then I think you can get away with the new art style like Ratchet and Clank, and the fans for the most part be okay with it. I could be wrong, but I'd be down for that.
Yeah, another one.
You know what? Just make it the trifecta. Make it down. Just give us all 3 of them. You'll be fine. We got a Ratchet. No, we get a Sly. We get
all the old ones back.
Out there.
Along with that, obviously as fighting game fans, I mean, it's the one I think we're all waiting for eventually, in the 1 in 1 million billion % odds that it ever happens. Give us Marvel vs. Capcom 2 again. I don't care if it's still broken. Just fucking put Marvel 2 out. Just remake.
Please again. I have it. It's stuck on my 360. And that's where it's going to be. I can't transfer it over to my Xbox One because licensing. Thank you, Marvel. And it's there on an Oasis. And man, that would be awesome. Just re-release it. Just re-release it. Use the same janky coding that you have. You don't have to throw in rollback. Rollback would be awesome. Don't get me wrong, but I'd be happy with anything on there, to be honest. I'm pretty convinced that series might be just done and over with. Just with the current state of how Marvel is with their licenses, I felt they threw Capcom a bone and say, "Hey, go ahead and make Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. Do your thing on there." But because I honestly think it was the art style that killed that game. you know. Whereas you came out with a gorgeous game and
Mm-hmm.
Dragon Ball Fighters.
Yeah.
At the same time, you have a one-to-one kind of thing. Well, this is what we want. This is what you're giving us. And yes, the fighting style in Infinite
Right.
is great. It's just I think the art style completely obliterated. And if you don't think so, just
Yeah.
that's all I'll leave with that. Oh boy. But I kind of think that series might be dead. I would hope that Capcom would just be like, we'll take our versus series and just make it with ourselves. It'd be the easiest in and out, and then keep that style play. But if Capcom's not interested in either, it kind of looks like Arc System is the one picking up that torch with their Fighters series, and with rumors that the next one could be a My Hero Academia one. That would be amazing. That would be yeah. Head tilting. Just you give me a My Hero Academia in the style of Dragon Ball Fighters, and you ain't gonna see me for a year and a half. I'll come in just to see the sun still up. Yep, still going around. All right,
oh my god.
Here we go. I'm just saying. So would I like Capcom to make another? I would love that. I think Marvel's done it. They're kind of looking at the sales from the last one, saying,
Right.
No one bought it, so clearly you guys don't want it. Which they're not wrong. It's just that's
right.
not what we want. we want Capcom to have fun with the verses like they did back in the day. Give us the stupid janky stuff, where we can go crazy with combos and yeah, there's glitches and all that, but that was how it was at the time. But give us cool art style. Let us have the X-Men. Doesn't have to be a movie tied with it. You have comics that are the X-Men titles right now are freaking awesome when it comes to on the comic side. Just give us that, But I think that ship has sailed. Would I love one? Obviously I would. Am I hopeful? No.
Yeah, I'm always gonna keep that sliver of prayer in there. And I mean, Arcade One putting out the arcade machines last September. Oh shit, it's been almost a year already. Oh, yeah. Yeah, the 1-up machines. Yeah, I got it over there. So I'll just keep that. I'm like, if that can get released, there's a maybe. Maybe.
I see that one in the time, and I'm just like, I can finally do it. I can make an arcade. I see the price tag.
Yeah.
Can't do that.
Yeah. So, I don't know. That would be awesome. But yeah, like you said, the odds are very low. So, we'll see. And then I think I got one curveball one. This game was not great at all, gameplay-wise, but it had a lot of hype going into, and it had a very cool art style. I don't remember if you, or I don't know if you remember the game Brink. It was on 360. I don't know if it was on PS3, but it was like a...
Was that the one with the weird gator guy?
He had like a green mask.
Kind of like
kind of. Yeah, is the game covers like a blue screen, and he's got like this hood, and he's jumping in. I think he's got a mask on. I don't remember. This is falling apart as I'm explaining it. But like, it was cool. It was cool in it was cool in concept. It had it was just a team-based shooter, and good mobility, similar to how Apex Legends has kind of done it now. And the gunplay was really good, but the where it fell was like its depth. Like, it was super repetitive, and their maps just were not great at all. So like, it died pretty fast. But like I said, it seemed like a lot of people were interested into it when like when like it launched and art style stuff. So maybe like taking that and like heavy rework into something like, I don't know, that might be cool.
That would be cool. I'd be down for that. I'm still, I'm also pining for either re-releases, remakes of stuff in like Square's old catalog, like Vagrant Story. Love ever live and crash. Did I read Vagrant Story? No, never beat Vagrant Story. But I tell you, I play that intro a good 50 times off the top of my head, just watching the cinematics of it. Interesting fighting system. Parasite Eve. Okay. That'd be it. That'd be kind of interesting. So I think that would sell. Probably not. That's probably why we haven't seen it. But don't know what 360 PS3 era game I'd bring back.
Okay.
I like to see Infamous on PS5, PS4. Yeah, even if it's just re-releasing it for the system, because I've only played the first one, and I love the first one. The first one was great. Didn't get a chance to play 2, but heard good things. Second Son, it never grabbed me, but I don't know if I was necessarily giving that a fair chance. But the Infamous series, that'd be that.
Gotcha. Okay.
Either let me see a re-release of that, or just continue with it. You know, even if it's just like a side studio, with Insomniac.
Yes.
Insomniac, right? Yeah. So if you have one team that's working on a Spider-Man game, which I'm assuming there's probably going to be like
right,
now, and then a side team either flip-flopping between Ratchet or Infamous, I'd be fine with that.
I'm sure there'd be.
Because I think that Naughty Dog is kind of doing something similar. It's where they have one team doing the Last of Us remake, which I don't know why we're getting a remake, but we're getting a remake. But then another team is also working on another side project. So I'd be fine with that. I'm just saying.
I'm sure there. I'm sure there'd be an audience for that. Like I had Kyle on a few weeks ago, Stevenson, Mr. K Step, and I know he's really into Infamous and listen to Dollar Slice and 6-1 Indie stuff. Like there seems to be a lot of them are like, yeah, Infamous was great, and that second one they seem to go all about. And like I've played 1, 2, and Second Son, enjoyed them. I wasn't like, oh my god, that's amazing. But you know, it'd be cool. I'd be totally fine, seeing it.
Yeah. I'm just saying, I'd buy it.
Yeah. Nice. Any others that come to mind that you can think of? Right.
Yeah. I mean, just off the top of my head, I would love a return to the Aki style of wrestling games. I think that the simulation of the current ones, I think, has just been detriment to them, to where I like aspects of it, but those are some slow games. And then you add on top of it the bugs that are with the WWE 2K games on there. It's just no, where and it's a system that is easily abused, especially like if you go online. If I would always turn the setting for creative wrestlers off, because you would 9 times out of 10 you're gonna find someone that just finds one move that can get through most of the other wrestlers' animations, and you just do that on repeat. And it's like, all right, that was
a
thing, But as for the Aki style wrestling games, WCW Revenge, WrestleMania, I would like to see return to that. Supposedly, AEW's version is going to be that, and they showed off a trailer. It looked pretty snappy. I don't know if it's just because I'm used to the WWE games, because that's all we've had. The animation seemed pretty quick when it showed the again, just the quick little snippet of it. But I would cross my fingers that might be a return to those style of games. I'd be all for that. Just sign me up. Just turn my brain off and go play some wrestling games.
Yeah, just some dumb fun, like hopping back into those. Yeah, we'll have to see where the AEW game goes. Like with the WWE games and even like Fire Pro, like those seem like opposite ends of the spectrum. Like they're cool, like you said, they're great for certain things. Like obviously Fire Pro's got the numerous created things that you can do, and people make some crazy shit. But like gameplay's not fun personally for me. I'm like, this is super technical. I don't know what it ever is. And then WWE, like obviously you get the names that we know super well, and you get the presentation aspect of it. 20 regardless. Let's just throw that history out there. Like a lot of fun, consistent. Yeah, consistent. And like I think the thing there, at least for me with past years, is like the story modes kind of lacked. So like with it being the gameplay, like you mentioned, like it's not always fun to just be like, hey, let's all jump into this and play it multiplayer, because people are like, I don't understand what I'm doing, kind of thing. Like it's not as simple as it the games like of past, like you mentioned, or there were some PS2 ones. I think it was like SmackDown, not the one everybody rants on. Here Comes the Pain. I never played that one, but like SmackDown 1 and 2, I think those were the ones I'm thinking of. Those were a lot of fun. You could just jump into, hit a few buttons, you're doing stuff. Yeah, it's the story modes were like hit or miss. Like the showcase modes were great and fun, but then sometimes the my player, whatever, the my wrestler, the one you make for yourself, like had potential. Had potential. There was one year, I don't remember if it was 18 or 17, but they had the thing, and you would start, developmental, then you go NXT, and then you move up to one of the main rosters, and then you're going from there. I was in NXT, and I'm doing, like, they're supposed to put you in different storylines and whatever. I'm in a storyline with Big Cass, and cool, great, things are happening, getting attacked. I fought him in a singles match for like 6 weeks straight. And I'm like, can we please do something different? Can I wrestle somebody else? An interference or backstage promo or something? Or like a tag team match or gimmick match. Give me something. Like, I just can't. I can't escape this man. Then I finally got out of that storyline with him. Get into a new one. And guess who I'm wrestling again? Not even in the storyline. I'm fucking wrestling Big Cass again. It's like, come on, please.
I'm done with this game.
Yep.
Tap out.
Oh God.
Nah, I can never do the story modes for the creative wrestlers, and it's a 2-part. Like, I always want to create myself in those games. Just the features that they have for the creative wrestlers. I feel with those games, it would really go a long way with them if they were to do a stylized take on the wrestlers, to where it'd be something kind of along the lines of EA Big with NBA Street, to where it's they're caricatures of who you're doing, and you have a lot more play that you can have with systems when it's in that style, because you're going to get, for me at least, you're going to get too much uncanny valley, to where you'll have a wrestler, you'll have like The Rock, where he looks great, but then you have a creative wrestler, and the gap between the two are so far. And granted, you're using a face scan versus sliders, But if I feel like if those games were to come up with a stylized look to them, you can kind of get somewhere kind of close and close that gap on there, and not the weird kind of action figure-y look that was at Battlegrounds that came out. So I think that's too much on there. For me, man, if you get that and you put on there, what was it? Disney. Disney Infinity.
Little action figure things, the Portal.
I feel like if you have a that you're able to scan it, if you can kind of get in that style, to where it's quick, it's recognizable, you know who the wrestlers are. You don't have to necessarily go crazy with body proportions, but you could if you wanted to. I think that would make those games go a lot farther, especially if you're in a situation like they're in now, to where they took a year off, thankfully, to update their system. But now you have the recent firings from the WWE, to where it's like, hey, that animator that spent all that time putting everything together, and the artist that went into making the models, there's a good chance that Vince is like, nah, I don't want to be in there now. Cool, that was awesome, great, wasted 8 months of my time, But so it's kind of harder to. I guess my point is to play a lot of those older games, because when you go realistic, that for me that only has a certain shelf life, Whereas again, if I go back and play something that's super stylized, I can keep going on that and know that, hey, that's what it is, and still enjoy it and not want to rake my eyes out. I can still go play Disney Infinity and know, okay, this is what it is. I'm in a giant toy box. Here we go, and the graphics aren't necessarily a roadblock for me. I feel you make your creative wrestler, you can have a lot of fun messing with those proportions, and it would kind of look right. Versus again, because you're having scanned models come in here, and then your creative wrestlers their sliders, and that gap is too
Fair.
wide for me. So I would like to see that happen with those, but it's 2K. You know, they're all about there. We're gonna do our realistic stuff, which cool. Fine.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
we'll see. Yeah, we'll have to see with 2K22 or whatever it is when that rolls out how that works. And yeah, Battlegrounds, like there was a whole thing that was up with that. Like I like the cartoony art style, like you mentioned. Unlocking the roster was really weird. You had a limited roster, and then you got buying with in-game currency. Mm-hmm. I do appreciate the free updates where they're adding like 10 wrestlers like in chunks. I do appreciate that. Yeah, every wrestler, it's no like season pass. It's just whoosh, they're in there, so that's nice. But yeah, that game, at least that one specifically, like it's fun to play, but it doesn't have like the longevity of like I want to keep playing this for a long time. Like other ones have. Like I don't remember if you know the what was it? It was a similar style to this one now, but they're all like super huge, and it was cartoony. All Stars.
On the,
yeah. That one was pretty fun. That one was a lot of fun. So yeah, it's just finding that balance, because like obviously the NBAs and the Maddens, like they work super realistic. So like I get why they're trying to tackle that. I don't know. Maybe if they did like, now it's more work, but maybe if they did 2 games, not every year, but like you could do the yearly simulated one. But then every once in a while, like if you did Battlegrounds, make Battlegrounds also fun. Like put those out every once in a while. You know, like
pretty please.
You can kind of hit both sides of the market there. You know, kind of thing.
I think that would benefit them the most is to do the Call of Duty thing to where you have alternate studios rotating out what they're doing, to where one year, hey, you are going to go the sim heavy route. So with the 2K games that they're working on now, but then the following year, have the cartoony over the top one. I think that would help them out a lot. That way, it still keeps what they're trying to because I think WWE's mandate is that they had to have a game release every year, barring last year because it was so bad because of them changing get rid of Ukes. That wasn't going to happen. But I think that's like one of the big mandates. So you would pick that box, and still come up with something that might appease both sides, because there are a lot of people that love the sim aspect of it. A lot of people hate it. A lot of people want it to be more, SmackDown, here comes the pain, to where it's more arcadey. And then you got guys like me to where it's like I kind of want that dial just a little bit more, to where into not necessarily. See, when I think of wrestlers that are like launching into the stratosphere and then landing on there, my brain goes to the old WWF. What was it? I think it was WWF Arcade, to where you would have the photograph wrestlers, kind of like what they were. Combat, but you have your Undertaker, but Undertaker would come up and hit you with a literal tombstone, and it was super arcadey foot. It was dumb fun, cool. Give me something of that, and just have a nice rotation to where when it comes back to the sim guys, they've had time to implement something that would be worthwhile. A lot of people complain about their GM mode. A lot of people complain about their creative wrestler story. Like, I like the idea of, hey, I got this creative wrestler, I'm gonna start from the very bottom and go up. That's
right.
Not my cup of tea. And I've whereas you see the showcases that they had, I freaking love those. I didn't like all aspect of it, because a lot of times it felt like trying to hit the extra little box, like hit Kane up against a cage, and a lot of times it wouldn't work. It's
right.
Like, what am I not doing? Why is it not working? But compared to the other one, I would take that any day of the week. Give me a different showcase, give me a different wrestler every year or every release on there. Cool, I'm set. I like it. But that would be cool. That'd be great, and do that. Have the off release every other year and just go back and forth between the two. But I don't know. We'll see. Like I said, Battlegrounds was my cup of tea. Just I don't like the idea of all the high flyers having the same movesets. You know what I mean? All the big guys have the same movesets. But I also get maybe they were on a time constraint to where they couldn't flesh that out.
Yeah, it could have been, especially with the no 2K21, like, oh, we got to put something out, to quickly throw this at the wall.
Yeah. But yeah, if they do what you said and just have an off year, cool. Now they have an extra year to differentiate that, make that, push that,
For sure.
That'd be nice.
Nice. That was a fun topic. Very